progress. Recording in progress.
I don't like it. Stop.
Hello,
It's so cute though.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Duvet for Scarlet Lust. I had to think what it was then. I am Abi Louise. I directed and wrote I need to call Astra there. That's completely the wrong audio. So yeah, that's me. Abi Louise.
Non-who.
My first non-who.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself, gang? Anyone?
All right. I am. It says Strux on my thing, but I play. Oh crap! What did I play?
Great start.
Brain's not working today.
No, my brain is not working.
Edmund.
Edmund, thank you very much. And Roundhead 1, I think it was.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Lagan, and I play Clara in Scarlet.
I'm Brandon, and I play Varn.
I'm Grace, and I play Scarlet.
In Scarlet Lust.
And I'm Rory, aka Rassilon Productions, and I play Luca.
Yay. Bear with us all, because some of us have been at COB, some of us have been doing a script read for another audio, and some of us have COVID. So
One of us is old.
Ta-da!
one of us is old. So this could be an interesting Behind the Duvet.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to mention, but I have a huge cold as well. I've been sneezing like 50 times today.
Just nobody's well
So
today.
basically,
Everybody
we're
is-
all dead or dying.
Everybody is
Molly.
broken.
Literally.
So Scarlet Lust.
Yes.
So firstly, like Strax said, this was my first non-Who writing. It has nothing to do with Who whatsoever, whereas before Vastra did kind of have the Who context in it. Now, when I first wrote it, straight away, I was like, Brad, do you remember you done that RP accent that one time?
That one time. I was listening back to BV1 when I went on Spotify. I was like, Jesus, how many characters do I play? I forgot. Every 2 minutes, I'm like,
Brandon McCaffrey in the multiverse of Brandon.
At one point, I played 2 kids back to back.
This is when we didn't know anybody though. That was ages ago. I think that. But no, so straight away I was like, I want Brandon to be the leading man. And then somebody else slipped in who also is Irish.
Hi.
I still love the fact that our 2 like leads are not English. And I remember saying, Chelsea, do you want to audition for this role? And I gave her some of the bits, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll have a go." And then she got it, and she was said to Brad, I was like, "Oh, are you gonna be in this vampire thing?" And Brad was like, I am the vampire. Like that's it.
It's weird because we've had it like technically ready to record since like what, November.
Yeah.
So it's weird for it only to be getting out now. It's like, Jesus, we've had so much go on. It's like, Jesus, we got there. We got to our non-Who.
It's been one of those scripts that's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then I was determined to cast out for the other roles, non-TTers. Even people that haven't even worked with us before, like Chris Walker Thompson and Rassilon Productions.
Hello.
Hello. And Jess as well. Because this was a first audio, like so that Jess was new. And she played Sophia, which I personally think was brilliant casting. She was so good.
So good.
So if we start talking about if we just make our way through them, we'll go through it that way, because otherwise it's just going to be all over the shop. I feel like I need an asthma inhaler. Like I'm having to take a massive breath before each line. I got to record tomorrow, people. It could be interesting. So Scarlet Lust 1. So
Bridgerton with
Bridgerton?
vampires.
Yes.
That's literally part 1.
What did you think of the script when you first got it, Brad?
Oh Jesus, that's a question, isn't it? I really liked it.
I thought it was
something-
shite.
It was fucking awful. No offense to anyone listening to spit swearing. No, it was something different than what we'd already had, and it allowed us to play more than having to stick to characters that we're used to. It's the first time we've really had original characters. Nothing that has been based off someone else, nothing that's connected to something else. It's purely original. And it was nice to just sort of create your own idea of things and work with that rather than going, oh, well, their voice normally sounds like this, so I need to make it like that. It's like, no, I can just play.
Yeah.
And having the group that we had, like when we were recording wise, this goes for all 3 episodes, but we obviously all sat there and went, okay, we're going to do a bit of a read and then we'll do it here normally. But that's how we normally do it with this. It was like the cast just knew what they were doing. And we all did it in like one go nearly every single time.
Yeah.
Going like, this went really well, cracking.
It did feel like everybody but I think it kind of helped the fact that it was your own character. Like,
Yeah.
Like Rassilon played Luca how he would have played Luca because that's his character. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just like, yeah. Okay, hi. Yeah, Bridgerton with vampires. I think the one thing I will say with the script is it's the speaking. It's a bit different, but I kind of think it helps kind of set the scene though, especially with the Clara and the Vaughn stuff. Think like this is one thing I will shout out to Chelsea for is the character that goes through the most changes in this is Clara. Talking about like the young Clara, the young naive Clara from number 1.
Attention seeking
Clara. The first scene with you two, when you're at the table and you're saying maybe if you didn't speak with your mouth full, like
yeah. Oh man, like see with that, I'm not gonna lie, Bridgerton helped because I was just sitting there. I was like, right, okay, I know it's not the same time frame or whatever have you, but I'm just gonna this script gave me a lot to think about because obviously my accent is this. I don't pronounce my T's or proper letters a lot. Me and Brandon don't. But no, literally it was just me watching that and trying to, because I understood like in the past it was just like, women married off to money, whatever, be fancy, be courteous, play the harpsichord and stuff. So I was trying to like doing a lot of studying with that whilst watching like Bridgerton, seeing how the women act and all that stuff. So like see even me like recording and stuff, I tried to like sit up proper and try to, be kind of snarky and stuff like that, especially in the first scene with me and Brandon, but it helped a lot with it being like, not proper speak anyway nowadays, but back then it made me think like, right, every word has a meaning.
Yeah.
Every single thing. So I have to like enunciate everything and, be very ladylike.
It probably helps the fact that it was kind of Shakespearean-esque. With the whole being posh RP, it kind of probably helped with the non-RP speakers.
I'd just be wild funny if we did Scarlet lost in her own accents.
Oh no, the funniest things were when Chelsea would mess up.
It's when I go like, how dare that's not what you meant to do.
No, it's just like, well. Oh, Vaughn. No. I fucked up. Let me do that again. Oh, geez, there is definitely going to be some outtake reel, I swear.
Pretty.
Oh.
Like,
not say pretty.
I don't like that word anymore. If I know for a fact you'll put it in new scripts for the crack, and I'm like,
pretty.
Mental note.
Why pretty?
Put pretty
I was
in
like,
future
I just had so much trouble saying that word and saying it right.
So have you heard number 1? Chelsea.
All of us?
Huh? Say again.
Have you heard number 1?
Number 1.
Scarlet
Scarlet last one.
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
Of course I have.
I will say this. When I didn't really think it through, the whole vampire thing, because doing vampires in audio is kind of gross.
I can imagine trying to find sound bites.
Well, like the scenes when Vastra, the scenes when Varn has like the cupboard full of humans,
Oh yeah.
and he like pulls the people out the cupboard and then just snacks on them. Like just the sounds of their like teeth.
It's like his
in.
equivalent of the fridge, 3
Sounds
a.m.
like a
on
Victorian
Sunday,
vending
on the
machine.
terrace.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Catch a Khaled by the toe. Let him have him.
Literally, like this, and like later on in episode 3, the scene when Clara attacks Luca, like the goriness, and there's like slurping noises, and there's like blood dripping noises, and I didn't really think about this. I was editing it, I was like, this is kind of gross. I put a warning at the top of all of them, contains gore and sexual references. Like, speaking of sexual references,
Sorry, I was going to say, contains sexual references, a bit more than
number
that.
2. Well, number 2 has a warning at the front of it, which Grace done for us.
You're welcome.
Definitely need it on number 2.
The one scene that I loved in episode 2 for me myself wasn't the sex scene.
Oh.
Now Brad's not heard episode 2.
Any of it? I've not heard any of it yet.
Shame.
But episode 2, there's the bit when they're in the back of the police van.
Oh
and
yeah.
Clara says, "Can we not escape?" And as she says that, they hang. You hear the drop, you hear the door open, and you hear the rope taut. And it's like, I when you just listen, Strax will know this. When you listen to an edit and you're like, I like that.
No, literally,
the way
I knew
that's
it
being
was
cut.
coming. It just gave me like a bit of shock as well. And I was like, ooh.
When I edit stuff, I don't know whether Raz is like this. You kind of visualize it as you're editing. So if that was on screen, like it would cut to black, and then like straight away it should be like drop, like and
there are like moments of dialogue that just stick with me when I edit, and like there was a audio I edited recently where I decided no music, just complete silence, and it was like this war zone, so you can just hear like an emphasis on the atmosphere. And, like there are just moments like that just stick in my mind.
Clara pulling herself out the mud.
I swear, see, I've got so much of a light head doing that. Doing a lot.
Oh, you having to do breathy acting?
She had
Yes.
to do
That's
breathy
fun
acting,
doing breathy acting, isn't it? Panting,
pulling herself out.
Getting
getting yourself.
I will say
lightheaded
this as
just
well. I
because
need
of
to bring
audio.
up Jed's music.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Because
Incredible.
oh my god, he got it on the
Amazing.
nose. Like every single one of his tracks just works so bloody well, and he done the intro music as well. And it's just so atmospheric, and there's like heartbeats, and it sounds like a little bit like Psycho at points, and it's so good.
Credit
So,
to him, high.
Sex scene.
Yeah.
You know what the best bit is? We did that in one take. That sex scene.
Yes,
even
we
have
did.
That is the scene that I expected all 3 of us to go, I can't do this. This is going to be so complicated. And no one broke.
No.
I will say this: if we'd done that sex scene in December, I don't think we could have done it. But I think
On a Zoom, I think you'd have had problems.
Oh,
Because you can't see each other's faces. It sometimes helps.
If you'd seen the way Grace was
the
today,
script read was bad enough.
Shut up, Brandon. Shut up.
The script read was bad enough.
That's between me and you, Brandon. No.
But yeah, I generally think because now, like, you 3, like Chelsea, Brad, and Grace are like old school TTers now, so they've been working on a few things like in different ways. Yeah, but you're not in the sex scene, Strax.
Get your own.
But I think because you have that level of confidence with each other now, I think that's the only reason why you managed to do that sex scene without giggling. Because I will say this now, even me and my Vastra, we have trouble doing those sort of scenes and not bursting out laughing. So I like salute you 3.
Love you both.
So Strax, Edmund.
Yes, Edmund.
You're another person who basically auditioned through Zoom.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? I'd completely forgotten I had as well. I think it's one of those ones where I was like, oh God, I'm actually yes. I need to think of an accent, and I don't know where that one came from. But when I listened to it back, I didn't recognise myself.
He didn't think it was him. He completely forgot he was in it. So that worked out quite nicely. It worked out very nicely.
It's interesting doing a posh accent.
I do love the fact that when we done the initial script read, I said so posh, like it's Blackadder posh. It's like
Hello.
ridiculous, like white wigs, powdered face. Like
Yeah. It's a bit different to doing my my usual 6'4" potato man.
it's a lot different from Strax.
Bit different, yes.
Yeah, the audio would have been a lot more different with Strax.
Could you imagine?
Mr. Vance, sir.
Mr. Vance, sir, what are you doing here? I told you not to eat these people.
Why have you brought another boy?
No, it just didn't work.
I'm sorry, there was no balloon.
It was Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah. It was,
I don't have a boat.
I don't even think why, because sometimes I try and think of. I don't know if anyone else does this when they're trying to get a voice, but I try and think of like either people or something I've watched to try and get a particular voice. And I don't even know what I was trying to.
But that's the whole like joy of us not having characters associated to those people, because it's much like Mr. B. It's very much like your character. I know I had to bring up Mr. B. I'm sorry.
If you've not listened, I do apologise. I'm the nicest man in the world. But
Go listen. I know.
Go listen to
as if
BBC.
by magic there'll be one of those little things up there now. Because I'll put it up there. I'll be like, go listen to Before Vashta 3. All will be revealed.
Yes.
And then so yeah. Sorry, I've run out of breath.
That was a sentence. Actually, I'm going to, because I wouldn't say something quickly about it. I've said this before whenever I've done like stuff behind the duvets when we touched on jazz music and stuff, that certain music can set the scene perfectly, and if you haven't got that right bit of music, then it ain't going to sound right. And Jed's music, when I was listening to it, because I have ADHD, I hear certain sounds slightly differently, and I could hear that heartbeat, and it resonated like properly, like in headphones. If you haven't listened to it with headphones, I suggest you do, because it's a completely different sound. It's a completely different sound than it is coming out of a.
Literally, if you listen to, especially my edits, I'm not sure about the other ones, but if you listen with headphones, like there's this in episode 2 of Scarlet, when the door's getting knocked down in episode 2 by Chris Walker Thompson's character, it's in this ear, but it's not quite in this ear. It's kind of more in this ear and only a little bit in this ear. And you can hear them coming towards Varn and Thingy, because it crosses between the two. We love doing it.
It's fun doing that.
It just sets, like, all his music just sets each and every scene just it's just perfectly.
I'll say this though, I went against my own rule for this, and I've never done this before, because this is like a big no editing wise. I know, I'm such a rebel. It's not. I don't think I've ever done this, and Strax will probably tell me off for it. I've done a scene with nothing.
Oh, Abigail.
Opening for two. It is literally just Barn and Clara, no background sound, nothing. It's dead silent, and that's purely because he says that line, "Can you hear it? Can you hear the rush?" And she's like, nothing, and it's literally dead silent in the background. And that's the first time I've ever done it, and I'm usually dead against it. And I was like, no, because I want to have that. I had an image, just once again, that whole trying to have a visual of them basically sat in chairs, like all these bodies, like all the Bannerworths, and like all just scattered dead around them. And I wanted to have that like dead atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I could have had like a ticking clock or something in the background, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna have. I love a ticking clock. But yeah, literally, it was dead.
I do like that idea, because it kind of sets that scene like apart from all the others. Like it's impactful. I like that, because I've never done that. I've never done it to nothing.
It felt really weird.
It's up to the listeners.
My finger was like hovering over atmospheres. Like,
don't press it.
But it kind of leaves it up to the listener to be able to hear what they might hear. So you might hear that slightly differently to like myself or Brandon or somebody else, and it leaves that little bit of sort of listener's interpretation.
It's like that eeriness just before a jump scare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So episode 3, I will say this: we had 3 people in episode 3 who we hadn't ever worked with before. Be that of Rassilon, Jess, and Chris. I love the fact whenever right, Jess isn't here, but I'm gonna big that girl up so friggin' much.
Incredible.
Oh my
Amazing.
god. Like so I had a few people audition for Sophia, and they all sounded too old. Whereas Jess isn't far off the age of Chelsea, but she sounds a lot younger in audio form. And she's from Portsmouth, so of course she can do an RP accent. But oh my lord, like I think considering this was the first like proper full-on audio, oh my god, like I fangirled over that girl so hard. It was the chemistry, like straight away her and Chelsea, like they could have passed for mother and daughter like 100%, and there's Varn there just being like women.
Just the majority of my characters are just very motherly and caring, but I feel like even like see whenever we first met Jess on the Zoom, I was like, oh hello, it's so lovely to meet you, because I know you were just like, I found her, I found Sophia. I'm like, oh let me hear it, and I was like
straight away.
I
It was
like,
that
so
line.
lovely to meet
The
you,
audition
daughter.
the audition line she had was the you monster, go before I send the huntsman on you. And as soon as I played it to her, I was like, yes.
How I came into your company in the first
place.
I was like, oh my god. I was like, yes. This has to be her.
It's
But
perfect.
she's lovely. So she needs to give herself more credit. She was honestly unbelievable.
It was really good, like really good casting. And Chris Walker Thompson speaks for himself, really. Like that man's voice could like
Speaks for himself,
turn the most straightest man. Yeah.
In the middle of a confession.
And this is another one, like chemistry wise, like I could not chemistry in that way, but like you and Chris when you were working together, Brad, it was so magical. Like not in a weird way, but like
no, it like
we're in the same room, you know that.
Never worked with each other. It like bounced across really well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. My brain's all mushy. Leave me alone.
You're telling me.
I have COVID.
I've been to the con. It basically feels like the same thing. I think.
Fair.
It was like, see the read through when we first got everybody together and everything. I remember sitting down and I was like looking through the script and whatever, talking away. But whenever it was the scene with me and Brandon, I tried my best to like look up the screen and look at him. And I was just like, man, this is so good. I was just like, it was pure, like really good, like, you know, just properly bouncing off each other. That was great. Oh, it was brilliant. Oh, I love it. I
love the speaking of like dynamics between Raz and Jess again. Like they'd never met.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute. Yeah. I was like,
Rassilon wasn't even at the script read.
Yeah, I can't remember why I wasn't. I wish I was.
You were at a wedding.
Oh yeah, that was the wedding I went to.
Yeah, and so the first time you worked with Jess was the recording.
Yeah,
and you
no pressure,
like
no pressure.
The innocence. It was the innocence what it was. Of everything.
And you listened to the music as well. Jed done this track that was like Lovers or something it was called, and it was so different to all the rest of the like haunted heartbeaty music. Very it was all like light right. And like, oh, they're sweet. It was like that. Considering what they did in the graveyard, I don't think they're sweet at all. But I will say I have certain lines in this that I love, and one of them is Jess saying, "You did not complain when we were in motions."
You know what you did to her.
You know, I can smell your lust. And my other favourite line is Varn's in Free. Free's probably got my favouriteest lines in it, actually. It's the ovaries line. Do your ovaries crave so?
Oh, Jesus.
I
and then she pushed me in the volcano. What a bitch.
I said this to Chelsea as well. This final scene of Luca with Raz, Jess, and Chelsea in it has probably been my favourite scene to edit. I remember you get these moments, and I know that Brad's had these moments as a director where you completely forget that you're supposed to be directed and you have to push stop recording.
It's more because you've got your headphones in and you suddenly go, I'm not listening to an
I'm
audio
not listening
right
to
now.
an
I'm
audio drama,
directing
yeah.
one." Sorry, I forgot. I started listening.
100%. That's what this scene done. I basically was listening to the audio drama, and it was that scene where she's like sat, she's like holding Luca in the chair, and she's like, watch the flames dance in the fire. That scene, and I could see it in my head, especially because you'd never recorded live, had you, Raz?
No, this is my first experience doing that. I mean, even for like my own audios, I mean, I do, typically, send your lines in for email and stuff like that. And yeah, this was my first time recording live or being a part of a production like this even, and it was really fun. Like
It
really
feels so weird though, doesn't it?
Praise the Lord for the Zencaster.
Watch the flames as they dance.
Because I remember when we done the practice, I remember being like, struggle, Rassilon, she's holding you down, struggle. Can't do that.
I think that was when I just
do that.
before that recorded, I decided I was like, right, I'm standing up for this, lads, because I wanted to get like that breathing and everything to make it pure, like I was actually doing something. So I was sitting there like bouncing like that, and I was like standing up, and I was like, right, just trying to sound more struggly than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember shouting at Rassilon, being like, struggle, and he was like, and I remember in the practice, because we do a practice before we record, and I know what it's like. We've done like sword fights and stuff like that.
Just some strange things.
Me and mine and Strax's first audio, we called for events. Like it's the stupidest things you wouldn't think. And
yeah, having to play scared of an imaginary
Yeah.
weeping angel.
I remember that
angels.
first time literally being like, guys, you better hot an event, wouldn't you be? You're trying to get there fast. You two going, yeah. Well,
you do feel like an idiot when you first start doing it, but now a lot of us do it automatically. But
If
obviously,
anyone walks past you, you feel even more of an idiot.
Oh,
What the hell are you
trust.
doing? Go away while I'm recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
must
obviously
say,
this was Rassilon's
Yeah.
first time doing that, and I must admit, like during the read through, you could tell you were a little bit apprehensive.
Oh, yeah,
as
I
I
was-
pushed record.
I was very anxious when we were doing the practice runs. You're right, but as soon as like the record button hit, I was right into it because even like with the struggle, I mean, I've acted struggle before in person, but doing it on audio was a different tale, especially in this kind of live setting. Because working with working with Chris Walker Thompson, who is a voice actor I look up to because he's brilliant. I was watching him when I was in secondary school. So working with him was an honor. Really, it was brilliant. But it was really fun. Getting brutally murdered and everything. so yeah, it was a really unique experience, and I think once the recording started, I got properly into it, especially getting brutally murdered.
Well, you said Chelsea was there to lend a hand as well. Like I know she turns into Molly. Like she's like, come here, Pons. Like, let me show you how it's done. Like
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It was all very accommodating, and the direction was all very helpful, and yeah, it was all brilliant to work with, and yeah.
I say it's definitely
I think
been one of
that's
my
what
favorite
helps.
scenes.
It's what helps a lot is whenever you have someone to bounce off, and I was just like, lad, you'll feel like a tit when you do this, right? But just follow my. I was like, follow my breaths, just my breaths. When I get softer breathing, then you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
it's
you
that
did
weird
you
thing,
did
isn't it?
amazing.
It's like
You did
weird
amazing.
scenes where like I'd whisper in your ear and you suddenly get really close to the microphone as if you're actually doing it to someone.
I know I was like this half the time. I was like, oh God. I was like,
Watch the flames dance.
Watch the flames burn as they dance. I was like, geez, I'm getting
But
closer.
that was another gruesome one. And I've got like sounds of you slurping, and there's blood, and then Jess runs in, and oh my God, like I can feel her pain. That scene is, I love it.
It's a bit as well that I know the fact that you will have listened to about 4 or 5, maybe 6 different versions of slurping sounds to find the right type of slurping.
I've sat there and heard all the slurping sounds. Yeah,
it sounds weird unless you editors, you know what you're talking about.
me, and Raz are like slurping sounds. So slurp number 506.
Like,
the pains of an editor.
Sound right.
Yes.
No, that's a different kind of. That's slurping a cup of tea. That's not going to work.
Volcanoes.
Volcano.
Speaking of sounds, this is a thing because there's so for the finals after Chelsea's done her marvelous monologue once again. She's the monologue queen in this. There's lots of spotlight moments for Clara, but there was a track specifically for the last scene, so you can just about hear the volcano in it as well. But it's all about the music in that scene, and I will play this for you in a minute if you want to hear it. But the panic, and I've got like you can hear the sound of Vaughn's feet being dragged along the gravel, like as he's being pulled towards the volcano. And I hasten to add that this is all based on a penny dreadful. The key's in the name. It's dreadful. Only in Victorian London would you think, let's just put them by a volcano. So that's the only reason why I had to put a volcano in it, is because it's in the Penny Dreadful. I wouldn't have killed them in a volcano myself, but that's what the writer decided to put in there. So
they were a common occurrence back then.
A common occurrence, if in doubt, volcanoes. But this audio was definitely an experience, and I'm looking forward to doing the next Penny Dreadful, but that won't be out for ages. But yeah, it was nice to have a different cast and different company to work with, and to get more people in the like TT bubble and get to experience live recordings, because that's one thing that makes
Something
us
a bit different
unique.
from what we've been doing for the last few months.
Yeah. It's not Doctor Who related. It's
No.
nice.
Shook.
Yeah.
She says.
It is nice.
So thank you for watching Behind the Duvet. I hope you enjoy the audio, and hopefully you listen to the audio before you listen to this, because if you haven't, we've spoiled the whole thing. So well done.
Sorry.
So
Maybe we
thank
should
you
have
for
put
joining
spoiler
me.
warning at the start.
Well, in all fairness, you're going to listen to Behind the Duvet after, aren't you? That's how this works. Come on.
You should do. If not,
You should do.
stop.
Stop,
too late
do the
now.
Ahoy round.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
So thank you for joining us, and goodbye.
Bye.